What's up my peeps, it is now time for the Hell in a Cell results / highlights and review video. I'll be going over the entire results of the show, some of the highlights in my opinion, and give you guys my thoughts and my review on the show. So it starts off with the kickoff. Of course they hype up all the matches, show some cool video packages, some promo videos. And then we get JoJo interviewing John Cena about the Open Challenge and basically announces that the Open Challenge will kick off the Hell in a Cell show. Not the actual kickoff, but kick off the actual show, the main show. Then we see footage from earlier in the day with Kevin Owens talking about his championship match against Ryback. He goes over how he doesn't like sports and he doesn't follow it, but he does know that the LA Lakers suck and then the crowd boos. And he goes ahead and says that he'll beat Ryback tonight by using the one thing that Ryback doesn't have, and then he points at his head, aka his brain, and says that he'll walk out of Hell in a Cell not only the IC champ, but also the King of Los Angeles. And then we get the 6-man tag team match, Dolph, Cesaro, and Neville versus Rusev, King, Barrett, and Sheamus. And we see Stardust and The Ascension in the crowd. I'm not sure if they're still called the Cosmic Wasteland, so I'll just refer to them as Stardust and The Ascension. And they've got like Stardust section signs, mocking the Cesaro section signs. And then we get the 6-man tag team match, Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, Neville versus Sheamus, Rusev, and King Barrett. I'll just go over some of the big moments in the match or some of the cool moments. You had Neville hitting a corkscrew moonsault off of Cesaro's back once he got tagged in. And then at some point, you had Sheamus, or Dolph Ziggler hit the famous on Sheamus, Sheamus kicked out, and then Barrett started distracting the ref, so Rusev hits the superkick on Dolph, Sheamus goes for the cover, but Dolph kicks out. And then, once Dolph Ziggler was trying to go for the hot tag, well, not really trying, but you could see he was about to try and go for the tag, and then you hear Dolph saying, "Stop me," and then of course Rusev goes ahead and stops him from tagging in. And eventually Cesaro gets the hot tag, and man, when Cesaro was the MVP of this match. He got the hot tag, he went to work on Barrett, he Irish whipped him in every single corner, actually just 2 corners, but over and over again, and kept hitting him with uppercuts after uppercut after uppercut. I think it was 4 or 6 uppercuts in opposite corners. And then he goes ahead, he boots Barrett, he runs from the apron and jumps with a flipping senton on Sheamus, who's on the outside. He runs towards Rusev, who's also on the outside, hits him with an uppercut, and then he runs all the way to the other side of the outside of the ring and hits an uppercut on Sheamus. He climbs up the top rope, hits the crossbody from the top on Barrett, but Barrett kicks out. And then after that, we get Cesaro assisting Neville in jumping from inside of the ring to the outside on both Rusev and Sheamus. And then Dolph super kicks Barrett, and Cesaro goes ahead and does the swing, a very long swing on King Barrett. It was really a long one, maybe his longest one yet. And then after the swing, he tags in Neville. Neville goes up top, hits the red arrow, 1, 2, 3. Dolph, Neville, and Cesaro win the match. And then we get the Dudley Boys answering some Twitter questions, and that was pretty much it for the kickoff. So, as John Cena said, the show starts off with the Open Challenge. He goes ahead and says that Los Angeles tonight is the place to be, and John Cena is still the man to beat. And then he says, you know, if you want some, come get some. And then we get Jack Swagger's theme song. Actually, at this point, I don't think it's Jack Swagger's theme song anymore, so we might see Jack Swagger get a new theme song. I was like, oh, is it really going to be Jack Swagger that answers the challenge? You know, I wanted to surprise maybe somebody that returns, but it wasn't Jack Swagger. Actually, it was Zeb Coulter coming out. It wasn't Zeb Coulter versus John Cena, but he comes out on a scooter, and at this point, I'm like, alright, so he's going to introduce somebody. And then he starts talking about how it's time for people of different countries to come together. And I'm like, alright, so this might actually be, you know, somebody that's not from the United States, you know, so maybe not like a Jack Swagger. And then he goes ahead and also says that it's also time for you to lose the championship to someone who will do a lot more with it than you ever have. And then he introduces Alberto Del Rio. He comes out to pop, and he looks in better shape than he was when he was in the WWE last time. And, or, it's either that or it's the tan, because he has a major tan on. I'm thinking it's a fake tan, you know, or spray on tan or whatever. But anyways, he comes out. The match itself wasn't all that great in my opinion. He hit a couple, like, axe handles from the top. He worked on the arm a bit. At some point, he was trying to go for the cross arm breaker. He did his, taunt that he usually does, the CCC, and then John Cena stopped him with a clothesline. And then Cena goes for the attitude adjustment, but Del Rio counters it with the backstabber. And I actually thought that Carlito may answer the challenge, so it's, kind of cool to see Del Rio use Carlito's finisher here. But also Del Rio was one of my picks. Anyway, so he hits the backstabber on John Cena, then he follows it up with the super kick, because John Cena wasn't going to tap out. So he hits him with the super kick, and then goes for the cover 1, 2, 3, and he wins the match clean. He beats John Cena clean, and only after one super kick. There wasn't 2 finishers, 3 finishers. You didn't see 3 AAs, you didn't see John Cena kick out of a bunch of stuff. It was just 1 finisher, and that was it. Del Rio wins the United States Championship. Whoever was going to answer the challenge, I knew was going to win the championship because of John Cena taking some time off. But, yeah, it's cool to see Del Rio back, and we'll see how he does, with Zeb Coulter now as his manager. It's going to be weird with him, with having Zeb Coulter instead of Ricardo Rodriguez to introduce Del Rio. So, after that, we got Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. Match starts off, early on, Roman Reigns hits a pump handle suplex on Bray, and Bray flies pretty far, off of that suplex. And then they set up a chair, like, in this actual cell itself, where it's, like, hanging, to the side off the cell. They're using the holes to place it, and Roman Reigns just ends up grabbing Bray and is sending him face first into it. And then he grabs 2 kendo sticks. He starts beating the shit out of Wyatt with both of them at the same time, and then he puts Bray in the ring. He sets up a table. Or actually, he takes a table, puts one in the ring, and then he grabs another one, and he sets the other one outside, and then he notices that Bray is pushing the other table outside the ring. He doesn't want to be put through a table, obviously. So Reigns notices that, so he goes ahead and hits the apron dropkick on Bray, and then he sets up the table on the outside of the ring, and he goes on the apron. Bray tries to charge him, Reigns ducks, and then he starts kicking Bray a bunch of times. And then they both get on the apron, they fight it out on the apron. It looks like Reigns is trying to go for a suplex off the apron through the table, but you knew it was going to get countered. The way Reigns was set up for this suplex, it wasn't like a proper setup. It was like they were on the side, right, facing each other on the apron, and that he was going to go for the suplex like that. I don't know, it didn't look like it would be a proper suplex through the table like that. So that kind of gave it away that it was going to get countered, and it did get countered. Bray counters it with a side slam through the table, and then he puts Reigns inside the ring, covers him, and Reigns kicks out. So Bray then follows it up with a running senton, and Reigns kicks out again. A few moments later, they're on the outside of the ring, and the crowd is giving kind of Roman Reigns the Cena treatment, where the women and the kids are chanting "Let's go Roman," and the men are chanting "Roman sucks." So anyways, back in the ring, or actually before getting back in the ring, Bray grabs another table and he puts this one in the ring. He sets it up and then tries to go for a superplex through the table, but Reigns slips out, and then he goes ahead and powerbombs Bray through the table. And then Reigns covers Bray, Bray kicks out, and then Reigns starts hitting Wyatt with the multiple clotheslines in the corner. He then tries to go for a running one, so he bounces off the ropes, and Bray catches him though, tries to go for Sister Abigail, but Reigns counters it with a roll-up, and then Bray kicks out, and then Reigns hits him with a Superman punch right after. He covers him, and Bray kicks out. A few moments later, they're on the apron once again, they're fighting it out. And this time they're on the side where the other table was, where the first table that Reigns set up on the outside was, so you knew somebody was going to go through it, and somebody did. Reigns went ahead and speared Bray Wyatt from the apron through that table. And after that spear, he gets him in the ring, covers him, and Bray kicks out. Afterwards, we get Reigns trying for the spear, but Bray catches him with a big boot to the head, and then Sister Abigail right after, but Reigns kicks out. And after that, we get Bray Wyatt laughing. He grabs the 2 kendo sticks. He hits Reigns with the kendo sticks. And then he goes ahead to the corner of the ring, or one of the corners, and he sets up the kendo sticks in a way where they're sticking out of the turnbuckles. He puts one in the second turnbuckle and the top one, or the middle turnbuckle and the top one. and then he grabs Reigns, and he's trying to shove Reigns, like, you know, eye first or head first onto those kendo sticks. But Reigns, he stops it, and then he grabs the middle kendo stick and hits Bray with it, and then he throws Bray onto the top kendo stick, and he bounces off the ropes, hits a spear, covers him, 1, 2, 3, and Roman Reigns beats Bray Wyatt inside Hell in a Cell. Nice Hell in a Cell match. And after that, we get the tag team title match, the New Day versus the Dudley Boys. They come out first, and they're actually thanking the people for their well wishes for Xavier Woods on social media. But then right after, they take a shot at like the hometown team, so the crowd starts booing. It's funny because they were cheering when, you know, they were thanking them, but then right away they turned on the crowd, and the crowd turned on them. So, Dudley Boys come out, they interrupt the New Day's promo, as they always do, and I'll just go over, you know, the ending of the match, or, you know, the big moments towards the end. So you had the Dudley Boys hit the headbutts, the what's up headbutt on Big E, and then we had Bubba telling Devon to get the tables. I mean, this isn't a no DQ match, but anyways, looks like he was about to say, go get the tables, because he's like, Devon! But then he got stopped by Kofi, who double dropkicked both of them. Well, obviously it's both of them if it's a double dropkick. Yeah, so he double dropkicks them. And then the referee's like distracted looking at Big E on the outside. And with the ref for some reason distracted looking at Big E on the outside, he was distracted a lot in this match, or had his back turned a lot. Kofi goes ahead, he grabs the trombone, and he throws it to Bubba, who catches it, and then he pretends like Bubba hit him. So then once the referee turns around, he looks at Bubba, and Bubba, he's got the trombone in his hand, and he's like, yo, I didn't hit him, and then Kofi's like, yo, he hit me. And so the ref is thinking about disqualifying the Dudleys, but he goes ahead and changes his mind and decides not to disqualify them. So then Bubba goes ahead and breaks the trombone, and they hit the reverse 3D, aka the back suplex neckbreaker on Kofi, but Kofi kicks out. And then Big E goes ahead, and at this point, the referee is looking at Kofi, who's down. So Big E comes from behind, and he hits Bubba with the broken trombone from behind, and then he like throws it out of the ring. So he throws the evidence out. And Devon takes Big E out with a clothesline, but that clothesline takes both of them out of the ring. And then Kofi goes ahead and hits Trouble in Paradise on Bubba, covers him, and New Day wins the match. I was surprised with that. Like, I thought for sure, well, maybe not for sure, but I thought that the Dudley Boys were going to retain, or not retain, I mean win the tag team titles here. Although I did feel like the Dudleys were going to win, I did feel like Hell in a Cell would be another pay-per-view for them to win their 10th tag team titles. So, looks like they're going to win it maybe at TLC. Actually, most likely it's going to be at TLC. In a TLC match at Survivor Series, I'm thinking they're going to be in a classic Survivor Series type match, because they've already been in a bunch of tag team title matches against the New Day, so I'm thinking Survivor Series is going to be that pay-per-view where they take, I guess, a short break, where it's not the typical just 2-on-2 match between these two teams. So yeah, New Day wins, and after that, it's Charlotte versus Nikki. Throughout the match, Nikki was working on Charlotte's back, and she goes for the second rope kick that she does, but Charlotte ducks, and then shortly after, they go up top, where Nikki goes for some sort of electric chair, but you know how usually the electric chair, you've got, when you put them on your shoulder, you've got both, like, you've got one leg on one shoulder and the other leg on the other shoulder. The left leg on the left shoulder, right leg on the right shoulder. But the way she had Charlotte up on her shoulders was she had both Charlotte's legs on her right shoulder. So she goes for the electric chair off the top, and I'm like, damn, this is gonna end bad. So she goes for it, and Charlotte backflips out of it. But while she's backflipping out of it, it looks like when Nikki lands, that Charlotte's head lands on Nikki's head. It was a really odd landing. It didn't look it looked like it hurt, especially Nikki. But I think Charlotte hit her head on Nikki too on that landing. But anyways, they continued on the match and seemed like she was fine. So after Charlotte counters it, we get a spear from Charlotte, and then she locks in the figure 8, but Nikki gets to the ropes, and then Charlotte charges Nikki, but Nikki throws her to the outside, and this part of the match was kind of weird, or like, it didn't make much sense to me, because on the outside, or outside the ring, Nikki goes ahead and hits the Alabama Slam on Charlotte on the apron. And you know how when Kevin Owens would go ahead and hit the powerbomb on the apron, his opponents would be out for a while, and sometimes they'd be out for several weeks or whatever. In this case, she hits the move, and then she puts Charlotte back in the ring, goes for the rack attack, and at this point I'm thinking, alright, after that move, Charlotte is out. It's going to be a rack attack, and it looks like Nikki's going to regain the championship. I actually thought she was going to win back the championship when she was going for the rack attack right after that Alabama Slam on the apron, because it's a, pretty devastating move there. But no, Charlotte gets out of it, like, right away, and she counters it into the figure 8, and Nikki taps out. I don't know, I felt like that Alabama Slam on the apron should have been sold for a while. But instead, Charlotte got the win pretty quickly afterwards. So yeah, Charlotte wins the match, and the other divas were banned for the match, so we didn't get, like, Paige or Brie Bella or whatever interfering. After the match, Paige and Becky celebrate with Charlotte, and that's about it. And after that, we see Roman Reigns backstage. He looks pretty beat up, and Dean Ambrose comes up to him and congratulates him, and he tells him, what's next, right? I'm thinking it's like a, Roman Reigns chasing for the championship or something like that. But anyways, after that segment, we get Seth Rollins versus Kane. And right in the beginning, they get face-to-face, and Seth Rollins telling him, you're one person, and I'm not afraid of you, and he pushes Kane. Kane, takes him out, he uppercuts him out of the ring while Seth Rollins is on the top turnbuckle, and then right away he takes off the announce table top, the Spanish announce table top. They eventually get back in the ring, and, well, actually, before they both get back in the ring, Rollins gets back in the ring on his own, and he tries to go for a suicide dive on Kane, but Kane just kind of catches Rollins and hits him with an uppercut. And then they get back in the ring, both of them this time. Rollins goes ahead and takes off the padding, the top padding of basically the thing that connects the turnbuckle to the post. Takes the padding off of that, and he sends Kane throat first onto it. And then Kane just falls on the outside, and then Seth Rollins goes ahead and hits a flipping senton from inside of the ring to the outside on Kane. And from that point on, Seth Rollins had control for a good portion of the match. Now here's one part I thought was pretty stupid, is Seth Rollins was pulling on Kane's hair, or grabbing him by the hair. And keep in mind, Kane has the mask on, so he's got the fake hair that's attached to the mask. And Kane's selling it like, Seth Rollins is pulling out his actual hair. And Kane's like, damn, he's pulling his hair out. I mean, come on now, it's fake hair that's attached to the mask. But anyways, a bit afterwards, Kane goes ahead and hits the top rope clothesline on Seth Rollins, and then he attempts for the chokeslam, or tries to go for the chokeslam. But Seth Rollins counters it with an enziguri, and then Seth goes for the pedigree, but Kane backdrops him. Seth Rollins goes ahead and lands on his feet, and Kane goes ahead and chokeslams him for a 2 count. And then Kane goes for the tombstone, but Seth Rollins gets out of it, and then he rolls out the ring, and then Kane side slams Seth Rollins on the announce table, not the announce table with the top taken out, so not the Spanish one, but the usual announce table with the top on and everything. And then he goes and takes the top off of this announce table as well. And then Kane tries to go for a chokeslam on the announce table. He climbs up the announce table, tries to go for it. But Seth Rollins slips out of it, and he powerbombs Kane on the Spanish announce table, but it doesn't break. Because Seth Rollins didn't really get Kane in the middle of the table. He got him kind of in the corner of the table. So instead, the table just fell along with Kane. And then Seth gets back in the ring, the referee starts counting, referee's at the count of 8, but Kane gets back in the ring. And then Rollins goes for the pedigree right away, but Kane backdrops him once again, but this time on the apron. Seth Rollins hits a springboard knee on Kane, but Kane is still not down. So Seth Rollins hits another one from the top rope, but Kane is still not down. He's onto his knees though. And then Seth follows it up with a super kick. Kane goes down, but he's getting back up. So Seth Rollins goes ahead and hits a second one, and that actually takes him down. Seth Rollins then goes up top, hits the frog splash. Kane kicks out. At this point, we get Eddie chants, and then Seth tries to pick up Kane, but Kane grabs him by the throat while he's down, but Seth Rollins just goes ahead and hits him with a pedigree and covers him. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins beats Kane and retains the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and Kane is no longer Corporate Kane, or Corporate Kane is no longer Director of Operations. Following that, we got KO versus Ryback, and this was a pretty quick match. Right off the bat, Kevin Owens runs outside the ring along with Ryback. They fight it out on the outside for just a little bit. They get back in the ring. Ryback goes ahead and hits a delayed vertical suplex on Kevin Owens. He had Kevin Owens up for a good while. And then he hits a spine buster. He goes for the meat hook clothesline, but Kevin Owens tries to block it with a super kick. Ryback blocks the super kick and powerbombs Kevin Owens for a 2 counts. And then Ryback tries to go up top, but Kevin Owens holds on to his leg, stopping him, so Ryback decides to go down on the apron, and then KO super kicks him off the apron to the outside of the ring. Referee's at the count of like 8 or 9, and Ryback runs back inside the ring, fights it out with Owens. He goes ahead and counters a pop-up powerbomb attempt into the meat hook clothesline, and then he tries to go for the shell shock, but Owens gets out of it, and then he gets on the apron, and Ryback is fighting it out with Kevin Owens, trying to get him off the apron and off the ropes, but the referee kind of backs Ryback away, and Kevin Owens takes that opportunity to get back in the ring, and then he grabs Ryback, throws him to the ropes, and hits him with the pop-up powerbomb for the win. And then came time for the main event, Taker versus Brock inside Hell in a Cell. In the beginning, it was kind of back and forth. They were trading blows, Lesnar with the knees and the shoulder tackles, Undertaker with the strikes, and Brock tries for a German early on, but Taker counters it and throws him outside the ring. And then outside the ring, Undertaker goes ahead and throws Lesnar into the steel post. Now at this point, I was thinking that Lesnar countered that by because he put his arm on the steel post, and I thought he blocked the blow, he blocked himself from hitting the steel post. But then shortly afterwards, we see him busted open. So I don't know if he got busted open legit, if he actually, hit the post, or if he, if he bladed. So I'm not sure. But anyways, it was busted open, I guess from the steel post shot, or maybe not. Anyways, busted open pretty bad too. He was bleeding everywhere, or bleeding from his head, but a lot. Whenever Brock bleeds, man, it's a lot. And that steel post and Brock, man, they don't get along. He always gets hit with that and gets busted open. But anyways, after that, back in the ring, we see a move that I haven't seen in a while from Brock. He hits a spine buster on the Undertaker, and then he starts hitting him with steel chair shots in the ring. Hits him a couple times, and then the medics go ahead and check on Brock and wipe up some of the blood. And then he goes on the outside, and he keeps hitting Taker with chair shots. One of the chair shots, Taker blocked it with his arm, but then afterwards, Brock hit him on the back and everything like that, and on the shoulder too. So, at some point, once they get back in the ring, Taker grabs the chair, and the chair's folded. So he puts Brock Lesnar throat first on the chair, and then he smashes the chair on the mats, thus hitting Brock's throat. And then Brock goes ahead, after he recovers from that, he hits the first German suplex of the match, and then right after he hits a second one, and then a third one, and then he hits the F5. But the Undertaker kicks out. And then the doctor goes ahead and checks on the Undertaker. And at this point, I think Taker was bleeding, because Taker was bleeding in the match. And I'm not even sure what busted Taker open, but he was bleeding too. And the doctor goes ahead and checks on Brock now and starts wiping some of the blood, and Brock just pushes him away, like he pushes him down. Unfortunately, while he pushed him down, they had the replay camera going, so they were showing a replay of the F5, so you could only see it in the corner of the screen. You see Brock just pushing the guy, and he just goes flying. And then he goes ahead and hits a second F5 on The Undertaker, and Taker once again kicks out. So Brock goes ahead, goes outside the ring, he grabs the steel steps, puts him in the ring, and then he hits The Undertaker with the steps, covers him, and Taker kicks out. And then he tries to hit The Undertaker with the steel steps on his ankle, like, trying to break his ankle like he did with Kane, but Taker rolled out the way. And then Brock grabbed the steel steps once again, and he approached The Undertaker and tried to hit him with it, but The Undertaker kicked him away, and the steps fell on Lesnar's head. Supposedly. On commentary, they said, it fell on Lesnar's head. With the camera angle, you couldn't really tell if it exactly fell on Brock Lesnar's head or if it was just close to it. And then Lesnar goes ahead and approaches Taker once again, and Taker locks him in Hell's Gate, but Lesnar punches his way out of it. He starts punching Taker left and right, and then Lesnar, you could see like part of the ring, there's like a hole, a small little hole, and he starts tearing the cover of the ring, like the mat. He tears it off, and then he takes the protective mats under it, takes that off, and then Taker sits up, and now like the wood is exposed, so there's boards of wood, and Taker goes ahead and chokeslams Brock Lesnar on those boards, and he follows it up with the tombstone on the wood, but Lesnar kicks out. And then Taker goes ahead and tries for the tombstone a second time. He does his taunt, the throat cut taunt, but Lesnar goes ahead and low blows The Undertaker, and it seemed like a pretty intense low blow, or a pretty strong low blow, because he heard something once he did that low blow. So he goes for the low blow, he hits it, and he goes ahead and follows it up with the F5 on the wood, covers Taker, and he gets the 3 count and wins the match. Afterwards, he gets outside the ring, Lesnar's about to leave, and The Undertaker is like, he does a sign like he's like, alright, you got me this time, you got me with that low blow. And Lesnar leaves, and then we get The Undertaker. He's still down now, or he's back to being down, and he tries to sit back up a couple times, and then eventually he gets it. He actually sits up, and the crowd chanting, "Thank you, Taker." And then we get the Wyatt sign or whatever, and we get Bray Wyatt's music hitting, and the Wyatt family, the entire Wyatt family come out. So Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, Braun Strowman, and they corner Taker. They each take a side of the ring, and then they go ahead and attack The Undertaker. The Undertaker tries to fight back. He takes off his his tank top, or the strings of his tank top. But anyways, yeah, they beat him up, and we don't get it like a Sister Abigail or anything like that. It's just strikes and knees and everything, and then they take him away, and that's it. They take him away the same way they did Kane when Bray Wyatt debuted. So that ends the show. So Bray once again going after The Undertaker. Now, they did advertise The Undertaker for Survivor Series at Hell in a Cell. So I don't think it's for Bray versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania. What I do think it is a classic Survivor Series type match at Survivor Series between the Wyatt family, The Undertaker, Kane, and possibly Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. The thing is, with the Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt Hell in a Cell match, the way they were talking about it on commentary, it seemed like it was over between Reigns and Bray. The way they were talking about it after the match, and that backstage segment with Dean Ambrose and Reigns, I thought it was over. But now, with the Wyatt family attacking The Undertaker, and Taker appearing at Survivor Series, because it's like the 25-year anniversary of The Undertaker, 25 years, since his debut, it looks like we're going to see Roman Reigns fight it out with Bray Wyatt once again. Although, it could be Undertaker, Kane, and somebody else. But it looks like it's going to be a 4-on-4 match instead of the usual 5-on-5, unless maybe they find somebody else, because the Wyatt family, therefore, so they need to find somebody else. And if it's Kane, The Undertaker, and Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, they also need to find somebody else for it to be 5-on-5. Anyways, what did I think about the show? First off, the match of the night for me was the main event. Well, actually, no. Both Hell in a Cell matches I enjoyed. But I did enjoy The Undertaker versus Brock more because it was more unpredictable. At some point, I thought, with that tombstone on the wood, I thought Taker, would win there. But no, Brock kicked out, and he ended up winning. One thing that was really obvious here, and something that's good, something that I really like, is that they're really, they're slowing down or cutting down, I should say, not slowing down, cutting down on the multiple finisher kick out thing, where superstars would kick out of finisher after finisher after finisher. The only instance of that I saw here was the Hell in a Cell match between, well, actually both Hell in a Cell matches, Reigns and Bray Wyatt, where Reigns did kick out of the of Sister Abigail, and also the Brock versus Taker match, where it took 3 F5s to take out the Undertaker. But if you compare this to even the SummerSlam match between Taker and Brock, it took, well, actually we didn't see a 4th F5, but after 3 F5s, Taker still kicked out. And at WrestleMania 30, it did take 3 F5s to beat The Undertaker, so, it does make sense here, especially because it is The Undertaker, that it does take a bunch of, F5s to take him down. But I was really surprised with the John Cena match, where we didn't get the John Cena kicks out here. I mean, he kicked out of, a bunch of, normal moves, but it took one super kick from Del Rio, and that was it for Cena. He lost. And I really like that super kick. The only issue, or the only problem, I guess, is that Seth Rollins does the exact same super kick, but when Seth Rollins does it, it doesn't give him the win. Del Rio does the exact same super kick, or Seth Rollins does the exact same super kick as Del Rio does. Del Rio uses it as a finisher against Cena and won the match. Seth Rollins had to use it twice on Kane, and Kane still kicked out. Which, by the way, despite Kane losing here, he did look pretty strong. I mean, Seth Rollins went ahead, hit him with 2 knees to the head, a springboard knee, a knee from the top, 2 super kicks. It took all of that to take him down. And still then, he was about to chokeslam Seth Rollins until Seth Rollins turned it into a pedigree. And speaking of Seth Rollins, as far as his next title defense, actually I don't even know if his next match is going to be a title defense. Because it is Survivor Series, so he may be involved maybe in a classic Survivor Series match. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But I thought after that segment with Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, where Dean Ambrose told Roman Reigns, what's up next or something like that, I was thinking that was going to be, a championship match or something like that. Like Reigns is going to announce tomorrow on Raw that he's going after the title. But with the Wyatt family, the entire Wyatt family attacking Taker and Taker being at Survivor Series, I don't know. Reigns might be part of that team. He might be, that was a verbal botch. He might face off against Seth Rollins, or actually I don't know if we just have Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns one-on-one that quickly on pay-per-view like at Survivor Series. We'll see. As far as highlights of the show, like I said, the Undertaker versus Brock match. I actually liked the Divas match. I enjoyed the Divas match this time around. I thought it was one of the better Divas matches in a while on pay-per-view. And I'm not counting the NXT matches. I'm just speaking strictly the main roster matches on pay-per-view. Also, Del Rio was a nice surprise to face off against John Cena. He was one of my picks. If you check out my John Cena Open Challenge video prior to the pay-per-view, which I posted up on Saturday, I did say I named a couple superstars that I thought could answer the challenge, and Del Rio was one of them. Although I did think Carlito would be more likely, just because of Los Matadores recently turning heel and WWE offering him a contract. Del Rio, while there were rumors of him, being interested in going back to the WWE, those rumors were talking about how he'd be interested in competing at or signing towards WrestleMania time. So that's why he wasn't like my top pick as far as who I really think is going to answer the challenge. But I'm glad it was Del Rio and not Jack Swagger. Man, if it was Jack Swagger, because when Zeb Coulter came out, he came out to Jack Swagger's theme song. Which, like I said earlier, I don't think it's going to be his theme song anymore because Zeb Coulter's using it now. But yeah, he came out to Swagger's theme song, and I was like, don't tell me Swagger's going to answer this. But yeah, I'm glad it wasn't Swagger and it was Del Rio. And I want to see where he goes with this now as the U.S. champion. I definitely think he's going to hold on to it until John Cena comes back. Now, once John Cena comes back, he's probably going to no longer be U.S. champ as far as, speaking of Del Rio. He's probably going to lose to John Cena. And if John Cena does beat Del Rio for the U.S. championship, then he'll tie Ric Flair's record as 6-time United States champion, as I predicted. Also, the kickoff match I thought was pretty entertaining too, especially when Cesaro got the tag, man. Cesaro was the highlight of that 6-man tag team match. He's really over with the crowd, and I want to see Cesaro get pushed, man. So hopefully he does get a push sometime soon. And now with Del Rio as the U.S. champion, maybe you could have a program with Del Rio and Cesaro. Also, the Ryback and Kevin Owens match, it was a pretty quick match. It was an okay match. It wasn't a great match. What else? I think that's pretty much it, right? Oh yeah, New Day versus the Dudley Boys. I'm happy the New Day won the tag team titles, but at the same time, since they did win here, for sure, I think they're gonna lose at TLC. I'm calling it right now. Survivor Series, they're going to be in some sort of classic Survivor Series match, like 5-on-5 or whatever, and the Dudley Boys are going to score some non-title wins against the New Day, giving them one more match at TLC, and that'll be billed like the final match or the final opportunity for the Dudley Boys, and after that, they don't get any more title shots, and they're going to win, and yeah. That's if they get a TLC match, which I hope they do. I hope they don't get like a chairs match or something like that. Because, at TLC there's always the chairs match, and usually ends up being like the worst match of the night. It's a pretty, lame stipulation. I hope they get the TLC match, but I don't know if they'd give the TLC match to the tag team title match. They have in the past, but that was when Jericho and the Big Show were tag team champions, and they were facing off against DX, so that definitely would get, a main event spot, or, the TLC match, because you've got main eventers in there who've all been world champions before. In this case, none of these guys have been world champion, at least in the WWE. But yeah, hope they do get the TLC match. If they don't, I'm thinking they get the tables match, but I'm really hoping for that TLC match. And as far as the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match goes, it was okay. The thing is, it was extremely predictable. I mean, who really thought Kane was going to win? Corporate Kane had, run its course. It was about time that Corporate Kane was, no longer Corporate Kane, or the whole director of operations thing with Kane was over with. They couldn't, they can't really keep up. Now with Kane being a face, they can't really keep on going with Kane as director of operations as a face. And also, the whole Demon Kane, Corporate Kane thing. They couldn't keep it going with this storyline that they have going on, and Kane being a face now. And yeah, who really thought Kane was gonna win? Come on now. So yeah, overall, I'd give the show a 7 out of 10. We had some, good TLC matches, both of them. A nice kickoff match, a nice surprise return with Del Rio there, returning against John Cena. The match itself, wasn't a big fan of the match itself, but also I'm happy, like I said, that they're reducing the whole, people kicking out of a bunch of finishers, and now finishers are, getting back to being finishers. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you thought of the show. What was the match of the night in your opinion? Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, as always, you can click that like button. I'll be uploading 2K16 gameplay starting Tuesday, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are subscribed, just stay tuned, man. I'll be uploading a lot of WWE 2K16 content. I'm out, guys. See ya.